What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another fantasy football mock draft for you. Here on Fantasy Pros, we've got a 12-team full PPR mock where we have the third overall pick. Should be interesting as always. Our roster, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. But that's pretty much it. Let's get into it. And while we wait for this thing to kick off, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. And let us hear in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all. And also, with June right around the corner, keep an eye out for our 2022 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide. That will be dropping soon as well. But with all of that said, let's take a look at the board. The first 2 picks are in. They are Jonathan Taylor and then Christian McCaffrey. I'm guessing that this is how, in some order, either Taylor and then McCaffrey or McCaffrey then Taylor, that maybe 90% of drafts are going to go come August, September. And that's because both these guys, I would say, are really the only tier 1 true elite running backs in terms of getting top-notch usage, in terms of having the high rushing, touchdown upside, receiving upside. I still think there's some really, really great options after them, but just not quite in that same tier. But speaking of those guys, here personally, look, let's run it back with Austin Ekeler. He was absolutely our poster boy last year. We told you guys it didn't matter, if you were picking second, third, fourth overall. Didn't matter that Eckler's ADP was towards the end of the first round, early second. Do yourself a favor. We did the research. We deep dove all of the stats. Eckler was worth, a top 3, top 5 selection, and he produced as the number 2 overall fantasy running back on the year in 2021. Look, I don't think 2022 is going to be quite as successful just because, assuming all these guys stay healthy, there's a lot of running backs that I like as well. Taylor, McCaffrey, Cook, Najee. But I still think Ekeler has a great chance, especially in PPR formats, to be a top 5 running back again. And again, this is full PPR, and I think he has a very, very high floor due to that. So I'll go and draft him here at the number 3 spot. And then let's see what happens afterwards in the second round. This is a 12-team league, so, we won't have as much depth on our roster as, opposed to if this was a 10-team league. But nonetheless, that's why we do these drafts, to get better and to get experience and hopefully help you guys out in the process. But quickly looking at some of these selections afterwards, you see Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, then first wide receiver Cooper Kupp, makes all the sense in the world. Saquon Barkley at the 107, that is the earliest I have seen Saquon Barkley go, bar none. I'm going to go into the cheat sheet to see afterwards if by any chance, his ranking was drastically updated, because Saquon Barkley was going in the 3rd round of drafts up until a couple days ago. Then you see Justin Jefferson, second wide receiver. That makes sense. Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara. Great value on Cook, great value on Kamara, on Swift as well with the final pick in the first, Jamar Chase, the 3rd wide receiver off the board. Then you see Joe Mixon, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, way too early for Tyreek Hill now that he's in Miami, in my opinion. Then you see Mark Andrews, way too early for the tight ends. Leonard Fournette, Antonio Gibson, way too early for Gibson. I have him outside of my top 15 running backs. Then Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, and James Conner. So I already know, as far as running backs, I feel like I end up with this guy almost all of the time, but he's just such a great value. And here we go. So in terms of rankings, no, Saquon Barkley didn't have a huge, drastic increase. He's still ranked 14th overall. Antonio Gibson ranked 18th overall. So it's not like, there were some major changes. It's just more of a situation, kind of that built-in variability. But here, yes, there's some tempting wide receivers, a Debo Samuel, a Keenan Allen, a Mike Evans, but in my opinion here, you have to go Aaron Jones. I alluded to it before. I feel like I've been targeting him in the second round so much, and he's just a guy that's going to get so much receiving work this year without Devontae Adams. I'm not worried about A.J. Dillon at all. As long as Aaron Jones can stay healthy, I think he's going to be an absolute stud this year. So I'm not really second guessing this pick, and I'm eager to see what we have available to us in the third round. So you see Nick Chubb, you see Debo Samuel go, A.J. Brown, then Josh Allen. You know, I probably would have gone Debo Samuel here in the third round. I think that would have been pretty good value. But instead, we can turn our attention to another wide receiver. Also, A.J. Brown going with the first pick in the third. I don't agree with that. I really don't like the destination in Philadelphia. How can you be high on A.J. Brown when he has a quarterback throwing him the football that barely got over 3,000 yards last year? So no thank you there. Again, looking at the cheat sheet here, we're not going quarterback, no way in hell. Keenan Allen is super, super tempting. But I already do have Austin Eckler. I don't want to load up on all these LA Chargers. And, you know, I can go CeeDee Lamb, who has some really nice breakout potential. I'll probably go that direction, even though I do think Keenan Allen has the higher floor and will be more, you know, consistent on a week-to-week basis. But again, I don't want to load up on too many Chargers. I'm just going to go this route right now. But look, so far, I love the way this thing has started. I'm looking at these other running backs. I think going another running back here, you know, I don't like Javonte Williams. I've been on record saying that. And I don't feel like I want to go into that next tier of guys since I already have Eckler and Aaron Jones. So here I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb and then call it a day in this third round. You know, Keenan Allen was very, very tempting. I will say that. But I figured I can get CeeDee Lamb. And then also, look, Mike Williams, I get it. He's not a PPR type of wide receiver like Keenan Allen, but the guy finished one spot below Keenan Allen last year in PPR scoring. He finished above him in standard scoring, yet he's going to go get drafted a round or two later than Keenan Allen. Now, maybe again, that's not the case in this mock draft, but from what I've seen in the mocks that we've done up until this point, that's been the case. Now, you see David Montgomery, Breece Hall, way too freaking early on Breece Hall. I can't say that enough. Keenan Allen, good value in Allen, then Darren Waller, Zeke, Javonte, Cam Akers. I think that's probably where Javonte Williams should be going. I don't like Cam Akers. I think he's just set up for kind of a bust type of year, to be honest with you guys. I think it's going to be a running back by committee. Mike Evans with the last pick in the third round. Are you kidding me? That's tremendous value, especially with, you know, Chris Godwin and his injury now kind of up in the air on when he's going to return. Honestly, I probably should have considered Mike Evans a little bit more heavily with my 303 pick. Ultimately, I went CeeDee Lamb. Then in the fourth round, Kyle Pitts, Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, and DJ Moore. You know, per these rankings, you know, these wide receivers were kind of the next guys up, but I think there's so many better value wide receivers here that are still left available that I, you know, would be drafting ahead of all of these guys. You know, Terry McLaurin. Again, it's a big if with Chris Godwin. I'll just try and make it a habit for me right now while, you know, there isn't any more new information and, you know, there's expectations that he misses some time to kind of just knock him down my rankings a little bit. Michael Thomas is also somebody that's really worth a nice dart throw. Marquise Brown, Allen Robinson, still there. Are you kidding me? You know, I alluded to it before in terms of Mike Williams. He's in the tier 5. I don't agree with that at all. There's just so much great value here at wide receiver. Pittman is also kind of tempting, but I actually think, you know, I have more faith in Allen Robinson. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Odell returns to the Rams. If he does, then yes, I would knock Robinson down my rankings a little bit. But right now, look, I'm going to get Allen Robinson as my number 2 wide receiver. I think he's a very, very good PPR type of guy. I would have Chris Godwin. I would have Michael Thomas above him, but there's just some uncertainty there. So for that reason, right now, I'm going to go with Allen Robinson, and it's going to be called a reach. It's going to be called whatever. I don't buy it. If you do the research, what Matthew Stafford just did with Cooper Kupp. I think Allen Robinson is going to be in for a great type of season. So I'm drafting him here. Yeah, okay, there's a so-and-so chance that he would have been there, whatever. DK Metcalf shouldn't be ranked this high either with Russell Wilson out of town. Chris Godwin, again, he would be up for contention with one of these picks, but I just need more time to pass and some more info to come out. Terry McLaurin is tempting, with a Wentz over there, but I think, again, some of these other guys, Mike Williams, how is he still available? I don't think he would get back to us if we waited until the next round. So I'm just going to get Mike Williams right now. Maybe Rashad Bateman drops to us. That would be absolutely insane. But basically right now, I'm going with guys that I think are safe and that still have similar upside to the tier 4 wide receivers that you still see. Marquise Brown should also be in contention for that. But I do think his production is going to drop a little bit with DeAndre Hopkins once he returns. Also, I believe I saw DeAndre Hopkins being drafted before Marquise Brown. He's suspended for 6 weeks. You better not draft him in the first 4, 5 rounds, 6 rounds. That's absolutely ludicrous, and that's kind of a mistake on FantasyPros end here. So I'm just going to go with Mike Williams. Yes, I know that I kind of said with Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, I don't want to do that. But that was in the 3rd round. This is now in the 5th round. I think it's a completely different situation. So let's go Mike Williams and then see what happens in the next round. I think there's going to be a huge run on wide receivers just because, honestly, it's such a deep position right here in this 5th, 6th round. So we went Mike Williams, then Brandon Cooks, Chris Godwin, McLaurin. Good value in both those guys. Cortland Sutton, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson. So you're going to see a little bit of a run on quarterbacks. DK Metcalf, Miles Sanders, Jerry Jeudy, then Juju Smith-Schuster. He's interesting, especially now that he's in Kansas City and Tyreek Hill is gone. Elijah Mitchell, Dak Prescott, Rashad Bateman. There goes Bateman. Gabriel Davis. This is a nutty type of draft here, folks. I'm not going to lie. This is one of the craziest mocks that I've done. I don't know what gives, but you'll see when you watch the video, kind of unexpected, honestly. Marquise Brown, Travis Etienne. I was hoping Etienne could sneak back down to us. I got a little bit greedy there. He would have been a nice depth piece, another PPR type of guy to Austin Eckler and Aaron Jones, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow. So right now, unless I'm reading the board wrong, I believe Kyler Murray is still available. Kyler Murray at the end of the 6th round is absolutely insane value. Prescott, Brady, and Joe Burrow should not be going ahead of him. So again, another one of these situations where I don't agree with how this is shaping up. But the next 2 teams here, again, and this is just looking at the board, at the quarterback situations, they already have quarterbacks. They're not going to take Kyler Murray here, so we're going to get very, very lucky. Instead, we can address either a running back position, which I don't love any of the guys that are on the board here as potential just workhorse guys. So wide receiver, I like our depth. I'm going to go tight end first, and then I'm going to go quarterback because I bet you TJ Hawkinson would have been selected if I don't take him right now. I wouldn't be shocked to see, one of these teams go tight end, but in my opinion, there is a drop-off at the position here after Hawkinson. So I love the value there. Let's see if I was right on that or not. Like I said, I did think there was a drop-off in the position, so it doesn't shock me that they didn't go tight end, but getting TJ Hawkinson at the end of the 6th, I really like that. I realize that, the targets in Detroit are starting to go elsewhere with Amon-Ra, with DeAndre Swift, with Jameson Williams. So I'm not as bullish on Hawkinson as I was last year. I'm not as bullish on Amon-Ra as I was last year. But I still think Hawkinson, with the type of tight ends that are left, he was the best available option. So that was the logic there. And here, I don't think I've ever made a pick as quickly as I will right now in Kyler Murray. I absolutely love that selection. That's my favorite pick of ours in this entire draft. It's not even close. Getting Kyler Murray in the, I believe it was 7th round technically, that's not going to happen. Again, this has been a kind of a wacky mock draft. I would love if this was my actual team because I think it's honestly the first 5, 6, 7 picks have been great. And I think it's potentially going to keep getting better here, but let's see. So after the Murray selection, you see Tyler Lockett, Traylon Burks, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Devonta Smith, Adam Thielen, CEH, Jalen Hurts, Chase Edmonds, then Matthew Stafford, Cordero Patterson, Brendan Ayuk, Damian Harris, Drake London, Kareem Hunt, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson, and Tony Pollard. So nothing too crazy here, I would say, in my opinion. Quarterbacks have started to go. There's been a lull at the tight end position. It's been 2 rounds since one has been selected, but that's all right. We got our guy. So now, again, we can turn our attention to just best available player. I'm looking at these guys right now. A couple names that kind of stick out at wide receiver. There's, somebody like a Russell Gage, like an Alan Lazard. Those guys are tempting. As far as tight end, I guess we can double up on tight end, get like a Dalton Schultz here. If somebody like a TJ Hawkinson kind of struggles, Dalton Schultz had that breakout season and, figures to be a player for the Dallas Cowboys again. So honestly, I might just get a backup tight end as a nice little depth piece here. I don't mind that. So let's do that right now. So in case that TJ Hawkinson does struggle, we have kind of that next option. And I do have Dalton Schultz ranked above a Dallas Goedert just because I like the quarterback situation more with Dalton Schultz and Dak Prescott as opposed to Jalen Hurts. Now you see Christian Kirk, Michael Gallup, Goddard, and Ertz go afterwards. So we're in a good spot right now. We can continue. We should get a backup running back here at some point. So a couple guys that I like at this juncture, Devin Singletary is intriguing, but Cook was just drafted there. You've got, Josh Allen. I think Melvin Gordon right now is the best value here. I think at the end of the day, him and Javonte Williams aren't going to put up all that, kind of dissimilar type of seasons. I think worst case, it's going to be a 60-40 split. So let's just go Melvin Gordon here. And I'd say that, if anything happens to Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon is going to be an RB1. So I feel really good about that pick. Let's kind of, as a reminder, see our roster because it's been a while to get a good idea. So we've got Kyler Murray, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones. Man, I love that combo there. Then CeeDee Lamb, Allen Robinson, TJ Hawkinson, Mike Williams, Dalton Schultz, Melvin Gordon. I love our starting roster. I'm not going to lie. My biggest knock right now on this team is that the depth at running back is questionable. So I can't give this team like an A grade, something like that. It prevents me from doing so. Melvin Gordon was a nice pickup, but again, I'm a little bit worried if something does potentially happen. I probably could go Isaiah Spiller here as that handcuff to Austin Eckler. I'm curious to see what the chances are that he makes it back to me. But probably at this point, it's probably worth investing a pick in this round or the next one in Isaiah Spiller. But look, it's going to be 5 picks after or 4 picks afterwards. So I'm not too worried. Let's just get first a guy that I'm a little bit higher on in Alan Lazard. I love him as a potential dart throw at this point in time. So we're going to add him to the squad, and then we'll see if Isaiah Spiller makes it. I'm going to be very disappointed if he doesn't. No, but it did go running back heavy. Pierce, James White, Chris Carson, Sony Michel. So let's see if Isaiah Spiller here, we can add him to the squad real quick. There you go. And he should be up here on the list. So we've got him added as a handcuff to Austin Eckler. At least we did that. We could have gotten A.J. Dillon, but that would have as a handcuff to Aaron Jones, but that would have been a lot more expensive. So I actually like how this kind of running back situation turned out. It could have been better, but we got one of our handcuffs. We got Melvin Gordon, who it's not going to be sexy, but I think he's going to be serviceable-ish, if you want to go with that. And here with our last pick, which way do we go? Do we go with a wide receiver? Do we go with maybe another quarterback like a Trey Lance or a Derek Carr? I've been on record saying that Trey Lance, until there is a 100% official statement from the 49ers that he is starting week 1, I just can't project him as the guy for the 49ers because, until that happens, to me, it's Jimmy Garoppolo. I have no problem projecting him once he is named without a hesitation of a doubt the guy for the 49ers. Then, he then will be a top 20 quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Justin Fields is projected to be a top 20 quarterback. In that case, Trey Lance sure as hell will be. But here, I'm going to go with another guy that I think has really nice breakout potential. That's Derek Carr with Devontae Adams in town. I think he can be a sneaky guy to potentially lead the league in passing yards. We'll see. So I'm just going to add that backup quarterback, and let's see our grade. So we get a B. I think that's pretty accurate. Maybe I would go with a high B as far as what I would give it because Kyler Murray, we got an absolute steal with him. He's a tier 1 quarterback, top 4, potentially top 3 guy, honestly. Eckler, Aaron Jones in the in the second round where we got him, tremendous value as well. I love that. Then CeeDee Lamb, Allen Robinson, Mike Williams, TJ Hawkinson where we got him. We also had a depth with Dalton Schultz. I really like this roster. Assuming there's no injuries to any of these guys, I do think it could then be an A type of roster. But hey, let me know your thoughts on the matter in the comment section, whether you agree, disagree, your thoughts on the team as a whole, along with any other questions you guys might have. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in future videos.